Kipling Williams' Poetry of Horror.
The critters crawl about the widow's house, the yellow lamplight dim inside the darkened room. The old one sits at her ancient helm as the bugs bite and gorge upon her blood and lay eggs in the creases of her chair. The wood cracks and sheds under the termites' will. She looks but does not see the piles of paper stacked like a fortress hoarder. Critters snap, crackle, and pop as they scurry atop, between, and underneath the papers, many of which are yellowed and smelling like fecal matter. The townspeople know not to trespass upon her property, filled with weeds, surrounded by a black wrought iron fence. The postman places her mail in the decrepit mailbox, hovering over the black wrought iron fence. Woe to anyone who for any purpose crosses her threshold. Rare an occurrence, for the stench of wickedness seeps through the walls and wisps through the outside brick and wood. She uses a crooked back scratcher to furiously scratch her itchy skin as the critters pick. She growls and spits at the hourly ritual. But the critters have a pact to infest and feast upon her until she dissolves from the inside as her empire of filth crumbles and falls. She bathes in moonlight as the rays hunch her back. Gnarled fingers clutch her pie recipes. Food-crumbed saliva moistens the pages. By daylight, she curses every passerby through a slit in her curtains, barking and hissing at the telephone when it rings. She used to bake delicious pies for the town, even sold them to the local bakery. But some would tease her about her ugly countenance. She began placing bugs in the pies of those who crossed her. Soon after, the town began refusing her pies and shunned her darkening of any doorstep she entered. She tried to put a curse on the town, but the curse reversed. Bugs began to invade her pristine home. She would awaken to taste the bug shells in her mouth as she flicked them off her white night dress. Now her home is a den of creepy crawling things. She grows and eats near-rotten vegetables in her garden. Madness is a slow and draining process, until one day a wasp flies into her face. Furious, she raises up out of her chair to kill the winged insect, stumbles over her paper fortress, falls, and breaks her neck. A horrid smell wafted from the house. The police were dispatched to investigate. They found the unsightly widow lying on the floor with a broken neck and covered in critters. They found rotted pies in her kitchen, teeming with critters and razor blades inside, and with tiny notes attached. Ugly is what ugly does, it read, and I will have my revenge. They say during the full moon, deep into the night, you can see an old ugly widow in a white nightdress, covered in critters, walking down the streets of the town, holding something rotten in her hands, calling out in a low and frightening tone, "Would you like to try my delicious pie?"